We're live. We're live.
Okay.
We are live.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Shiraz Khan, a senior journalist here in London, and today I am sitting for Jameel Manasab, who is the host of online Baitak program 74 News. I have today a guest, a very special guest. Her name is Claire Bidwell. She is a teacher and living in Scotland. Hi, Claire.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I am okay because we are resting and no work under the lockdown.
Okay.
Today we are going to talk about Kashmir, which is neglected by the world. We actually experiencing or going through with the lockdown, and we know what is lockdown is being. But the Kashmiris since 5 August 2019, they were under locked up before us. So nobody paid any attention to the Kashmiris, that what is the lockdown and what Indian government is doing with them. Okay, there were many protests here in London as well as throughout the world. Then nothing was done. Pakistan Prime Minister, which is also Pakistan is also a party to the dispute, went to the United Nations and he had made a very good speech about the Kashmir. He tried to call the world leaders to intervene and end the lockdown in Kashmir. But lockdown was continued. All the leadership of the Kashmiri, Indian occupied Kashmir is in lockup. At the coronavirus time, as you know, and our viewers knows that they are also they are in jail, and leadership is in jail, and the people who are suffering and they are still in lockup. They are basically, India is taking the advantage to disperse the people, and because of the status, special status being abolished, now anybody can buy the land and live there. So Indian, especially the Hindu extremists, they are given this space similarly like Israel. They are grabbing the land in Kashmir and building him. So basically the idea is that 90% Muslims are living in the valley and they are trying to counter the disbalance the population, the majority of the Muslims. So this is the idea behind it. Now, because of the coronavirus, we are working through with the sympathetically for a human being, for a humanity, but this is not the case in Indian occupied Kashmir. Claire Bedwell is very passionate about Kashmir, and she has learned a lot, and she has appeared in different programs about Kashmir. So if I may ask you, Claire, that this is the introduction which I given for you, or I introduce you. This is enough, or you want to add in it something else?
No, I think that was probably a very good introduction. Yes, I mean, I only became aware of the issue after meeting a Kashmiri in Mumbai and learning that he couldn't contact his parents. So, I mean, prior to that, I'd only ever heard of Kashmir rugs and Kashmir shawls. So the sense of injustice I felt after the Indian government locked down the country, and that somebody should be able to do that, you know, in an undemocratic way in our society, and that I hadn't been aware of the Kashmir issue before that, you know, I was quite full of a sense of injustice about this. So that's what brought me into this.
Okay. If I may ask you your immediate reaction when we talk about a Labour leader, former Jeremy Corbyn. He was very pro Kashmiri supporter.
Yes.
He has many times publicly voiced for the Kashmiri people. Now we have a new leader, Kashnir Issue, and he said that Kashmir is a internal issue between India and Pakistan, and it should be resolved bilaterally. Do you think what happened? Was it an Indian lobby behind him to actually influence him, and they actually brief him the policy, or do you think this is just a slip of the tongue, or how do you see all this?
Well, I think I've had different ways of looking at it. I mean, my first optimistic reaction was maybe this was a cloak and dagger response and a way of getting to the Indian government with perhaps, deeper matters of getting a good rapport with them and maybe being able to send in an envoy into Kashmir. But then I think, no, that was a bit too optimistic. And unfortunately, it does seem like the Indian lobby or some advisor or somebody has got to him. I'm hoping it's misinformed. Absolutely, devastated and gutted by his response. I mean, it's against the Labour Party policy. In 2019, they stated clearly that they were with the Kashmiris looking for basic human rights to be met. So he's gone against party guidelines, and he's spoken out against a lot of his members who are very strong pro-Kashmiri supporters. So it is going to be interesting and see what does happen. I mean, a lot of the members of his cabinet and of his party have spoken up for Kashmiris, have spoken up out against what he said. And there is news that they are going to be meeting this week. So it will be interesting to see what comes out of that. I mean, we want nothing less than an apology. We want a complete backing of the policy and back to humanitarian rights and justice being put on the table. Where human rights are concerned, there are no boundaries. This is against the United Nations policy. The UK government is one of the founding members behind the United Nations. We have the intention, we can put pressure on there. And then obviously the resolutions for Kashmir to have their own, right for self-determination. And Keir Starmer has gone against all of that. Given that we want to, protest through our governments, put pressure on our world leaders and United Nations, it was really important to us that Keir Starmer, the opposition member, was there for us to back us. So I think, we're all devastated. It's been like a dagger to the heart, to be honest. Many people's temptation is to run from the Labour Party, leave it, let them get on with it. But, I'm wondering if we'd be better not dividing and trying to stay in there as a strong voice and see if we can't get Keir Starmer to come round to, to realise what he's doing. I think it is concerning as to having a meeting, with Labour Friends of India, or India Friends of Labour, sorry, to then come out after that and come out with that statement. I think that needs to be actually investigated or looked at. I'm quite concerned about that. So yeah, we just have to wait and see if any of the kind of uprising, the pro-Kashmiris, all standing up and making their statements, making it clear that they're not happy. Let's see if we can't do something through that. So yeah.
So basically, the people who are listening to our program, for their education, Kashmir issue is not bilateral between India and Pakistan, because United Nations passed many resolution that it is a disputed territory, and it's a disputed territory, and it will be decided by the self-determination. There will be a referendum. The Kashmiri, both part of the line of control, they will give they will be given the choice to vote, and then they will decide what will be the outcome of it. They want to be a part of India, they want to be independent, or they want to be with Pakistan. So this is the international Kashmir status is that, and the United Nations observers are on the both side of the Kashmir, and they are monitoring the daily basis the reports. And because of this situation, there were two wars between India and Pakistan, 1965 and 1971, and there were many clashes. 98, there was a clash between India and Pakistan many times. It happened that they were very close to have a engage with the combat war between India and Pakistan. And many times it happened that it seems to be the world was worrying about it when the Pakistan and India conducted the nuclear test in 1998. First India did, then Pakistan. Then people were worried about the world was worried about that there will be a time that they will kill each other, and this was a great risk to the human being. Now, as we speak, on the line of control between India and Pakistan on the both sides of the Jammu and Kashmir, there are many troops by Indian and Pakistan. They are firing to each other's area, and many people are killed. As you know, there are 1.8 Pakistani living in the UK, but majority 1.3 approximately are Kashmiris, and many families they live in the United Kingdom, basically belong to the Pakistani side of Kashmir, which we call Azad Kashmir, on the line of control. And their families are daily basis being killed. And they've been also voicing for the parliamentarian to take some sort of action and to intervene. And there is also like, as you know, that you must be aware of it, there is a parliamentary Kashmir committee, which has got many member of parliament. They they think this is a just cause, and we should voice something for Kashmiri people who are in lockdown. They've been killed, they've been raped, and there are many Human Rights Commission report about it. As you participated in OKC programs, then go in Geneva, in Switzerland, and they attend the member of the OKC. They attend all that human rights sessions, which is held, which is organized there, and there was many sessions there. I've been attending as well. And there is many reports in the United Nations Human Rights Commission has reported and stated clearly that this is a big violation going on in occupied Kashmir, and they condemn about it, and they think this is not the justice. But then at the same time, we think that labor leader, we had a really hope about it. We are very upset. People are, majority Kashmiris are, they are the member of the Labour Party, but because of the I don't know what happened, the Indian lobby been briefing him, and they're trying to influence him, and he said it this. But the people who are listening us through this program, what will be your message about to the member of the Labour Party and to the Kashmiri diaspora or Kashmiri member of the at large the community, what they should do at this time to tell the new Labour leader that this is not the statements we wanted from you. What platform they can use it? What is your suggestion about it?
Well, that was quite broad question in there, wasn't it? I think what we're looking through, I mean, everything that you've said there, I've seen evidence of. I mean, we've created the Facebook group, and through there we have got a team internationally around the world. And we've shared evidence, we share discussions, we share dialogue. We've made links with Kashmiri diaspora, other people, human rights activists, lawyers, everybody that has got a handle on this, that is sharing this information, that's in at the United Nations level. There is enough evidence here, enough concern to show that the Indian government are, it's a genocide here. There is the potential threat. I mean, the tensions are mounting, and every day that passes, Indian government are getting more control on Kashmir. So it is concerning where it's going. I think, I mean, there is all this evidence here. It's all there. And the Labour Party and the Conservative Party and the people in the all cross-party members, they need to use this evidence, and they need to start pushing this through now. I think we've had enough of the urging and the demanding and the insisting. We want to see action. I think the pro-Kashmiri supporters are getting stronger. I think they're uniting more and more groups are coming together. And I think it's important that we do that. We do have support all around the world. We've got support in Australia, in Canada, in France, many areas around the world, and we're joining together in forces, trying to bring it out, I think, into the ordinary people of the world. There's been so much work done. Everything is there to be pushed and pressured on our government. So, I mean, Keir Starmer's, please open your eyes to humanity. Please open your eyes to the United Nations, that, you know, we should be insisting that their human rights, you know, everyone is being violated in India, not one is being met. And the Kashmiris have been promised their say. This is a United Kingdom set this up. They left Kashmiris, which was a country in its own right, and they left it in the hands of other countries, and they've turned their backs and they've walked away, and they've left them suffering for 72 years, you know. But the Kashmiris have stayed resolute, they've stayed strong, and they've kept fighting their corner. I think if we could just give them the referendum, let's demilitarize the area, get in a United Nations peace form, I think we're going to save a lot of lives, we're going to save a lot of torture. Somebody needs to get a handle on this and take a stand and be brave and stand up against the Indian government, because that's our first step. And that needs to be challenged, and we need our members of parliament working for us. United Nations at the moment, you know, they're not acting, they work for us. I don't see them working for us. So I want people to kind of join us. We're having a solidarity event on the 30th of May online at 1 o'clock. I would like as many people as possible to join us for tea, upload photographs of themselves, upload their messages. We've got a petition to the United Nations insisting they act, and all this will be evidence towards that. So we would like all pro-Kashmiri supporters to share the word. We want as many people joining us as possible, and I think humanity, you know, would say thank you to everybody if we could just give Kashmir their right for self-determination as promised.
You mentioned about the parliamentarian player. Sometimes I wonder what a British parliamentarian can do for the Kashmiri people.
Well, really, we've got stronghold in the United Nations. We really need to be demanding there. We're one of 5 founding members, main permanent members, so they can work on the other 4 members. I don't see why with dialogue that can't be pushed through. So our government has a very big role here, and they just need to stand up and state that case, that you instigate your regulations and your resolutions. What's the point, one, of having human rights articles and charters if they're not being honoured? So surely the UK government, as one of the founding members, that's one of the first things they can issue through, where human rights are not being met. That needs to be challenged. In my honest opinion, Modi should be going to an international court. He should be tried for war crimes, and people are hiding behind it, and I don't know why that's not happened yet. There's enough evidence out there to bring this forward. And if you're heading for nuclear war, what do they want to do? What are they going to do in 6 months' time when nuclear war is a real threat? You know, everyone's going to raise their eyes and go, oh, what happened? So we do have, you know, a fundamental role to play, and the resolutions of United Nations towards giving Kashmiris their right for self-referendum, they should be given that entitlement. I think our government can do a lot.
What is your message to the Kashmiri diaspora in the UK?
Keep your voices high, keep raising those voices, don't give up, keep making links with as many of us as you can. Let's find ways to get this. I think if we can get it into the media, that is going to be a huge thing. It's been, you know, it's suited our government to not have this in the media, and I think that profile needs to be raised. I think we've got a good opportunity here with Keir Starmer's to use that to push forward that this Labour Party not, you know, honouring their policy. So really, you know, just keep raising awareness, standing in solidarity, and just keep doing all you've been doing, and you'll be heard.
When we go for demonstration, as I've been attending and appearing in the demonstration here in London, Brussels, Milan, everywhere I've been going for Kashmir demonstration, for voicing for the Kashmiri people. But again and again, I've been asked by my own wife and our friends that these demonstrations, which are taking place for so long, has no impact so far. How do you see that?
I think it's had huge impact. You may not have seen it at the time, but one of the things that's happened is that evidence has grown in strength in people and goes forward. I have been concerned, you know, on my journey that sometimes this feeling of, oh my goodness, you're shouting at one another and nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. So wanting to bring it out into the fore, but you can't take away anything from any of the work that any of you have done, because the links that you've made, all the human rights violations, all of these have been collected, all of that evidence, it will have built your participation in those demonstrations will have reached somebody, will have touched somebody. Everything you've done has made a difference, and it has grown, and it's still growing to this day. So for me, I would not have learned as much as I have learned if Kashmiris hadn't been doing that over the years. And we've got many members in our group that are able to share where they've demonstrated, what they've done, who they've spoken to. And I think it's not gone away. That's one of the reasons why your voice is still here, and this is still a big issue, because this has been happening. So nothing that has been done has ever been wasted. It's all building blocks, and that experience is here now and coming to the fore. So, I mean, that's something that, you know, for me, where I want to be able to make that difference is to try and, you know, maximize all that and get it out to as many people as possible, and, you know, uniting all of us as much as we can. I mean, in the UK, this is something we're trying to do, is meet in June as one member from every pro-Kashmiri group, regardless of ideology, to lobby our parliament and to lobby UN. So I think I'd like to see us all, and people are doing this, uniting together more and more as we can become one loud voice, rather than separate groups doing their own little bit of lobbying. So pulling people together. So nothing anybody has done has ever been wasted. It's all building blocks.
If you were given a task to engage more indigenous communities, ladies or women into Kashmir cause, you will be quite willing to do so, because what is lacking here in Kashmir diaspora is the women and children. Their presence is now visible when we demonstrate and we talk about Kashmir. They are not the ambassadors of the Kashmir issue. Although in Indian occupied Kashmir, the most suffering are the children and women. So what do you think, how we can convince women to engage with the Kashmir cause and the children or youth?
Well, for me, I think that's about connecting on a human level. We need to make people put themselves in other people's shoes, how they would feel if that was them. So this lockdown, you know, we are nowhere in our lockdown. We can't compare it to Kashmiri's lockdown, you know, where our governments are helping us in COVID time. Kashmiris, no, you know. One of the things we wanted to do was to go to Kashmir, one member from every country in the world, and we have 30 so far, to go and have a solidarity event, which would then stream out live, and we would protest on our streets. Our hope was to reach into the media that we are having this global event, that women, children and men all around the country are having tea with Kashmir on that one day. Unfortunately, coronavirus has stopped that. But on the day that we do have that, we want international media there with us. We want all pro-Kashmiri voices there. We want international community members there. Like I said already, our team, we've got 5 continental representatives. We've got over 30 country representatives, all different nationalities, not just Kashmiris. These are ordinary people reaching out to the world. So through our cups of tea, something that we all like to sit down and enjoy, and, you know, makes the world seem right sometimes, trying to just reach through on that human level, and make that impact and raise that awareness. And I think that was something we hoped we could do with the event. The media here are very much anybody that is standing up for their freedom or is a freedom fighter. In our press over here, they're deemed as terrorists or militants. So it was always that idea there that, well, people are going to say, you're going to have tea with terrorists, or you're going to have tea with militants. Just something that could connect the international world, that these are human beings just the same as all of us anywhere. Sometimes because it's far removed from us, we don't feel as though we're able to reach them. So that was, you know, kind of my idea in terms of making a difference. If we could somehow bring, you know, the issues that women are facing, the issues that children are facing, the everyday human, you know, none of these things happen here. We don't have soldiers on our doorstep. We're not having mass rapes. We're not having children blinded by pellet guns. We're not having our youth locked up. We're not having, you know, the internet turned off. We're not having all of these crimes, tortures, you know, and people close their eyes because they don't think they can do anything about it. They don't like what they see and they think they can't do anything. But it's trying to make people realize actually there's a lot you can do. Standing up, signing the petition, having a cup of tea, watching the event, listening and realizing that you can make a difference. I think that's something, that's a message that needs to be out there, I think.
Claire, India is party to Kashmir dispute, and two-thirds part of the Kashmir is occupied and ruled by the New Delhi. Pakistan is also a part of the dispute. Nationally about Kashmir will be resolved between India and Pakistan. India says it is integral part of the Kashmir is an integral part of India. Pakistan says now this is an issue recognized by international community, by United Nations. So they don't want us to discuss in British Parliament. They don't, although there was many times there was a session the MPs discussed in Parliament, British Parliament. There was a time when the European Parliament discussed about it. They published the unknown graves in European Parliament. So how do you see Pakistan putting the case internationally? Do you think they are moving or putting forward the case in the right way, or do you think they need to do something else? The international community should intervene and resolve this problem.
I can only answer that to the best of my ability because I'm not, you know, a human rights lawyer or a politician. So I'm coming at it with a very humanistic view from the outside. So when I first saw Pakistan take to the international stage, take to the United Nations to state their case, I was very much, you know, Imran Khan really caught my attention. I mean, he was correct in everything he said. So for me, I got this passionate human response. I grew up when Imran Khan was a cricketer. So he was very... Yeah, he was
him? Do you like him?
He was a very good cricketer. I remember that. So, but what I remember, one of the things he said about the UK was if it was animals that had been locked down, the UK people would be up in arms. And do you know what? I thought, oh, he's right. But so it was good that his voice was out there because it did raise the profile without a doubt. It's very difficult to know what Pakistan should or shouldn't be doing. I mean, there is mention of the Shimla Agreement. Perhaps it would be helpful if Pakistan got that absolved. However, there's also the take from others that it's been null and void when India violated the area. It's a very difficult situation for Pakistan. Could they give more authority to the AJK government? You know, could they give more control to them so that they are then more united? I mean, these are questions I don't know enough about. Obviously, from what I can see, Pakistan have gone relatively quiet just now, but maybe there's things happening I'm not seeing. Maybe it's because of COVID-19, but certainly coming to the international forum and asking for international support is a very valid thing considering the situation. I would have thought, surely, I mean, Pakistan don't want to be spending their money on military on the borders. I wouldn't have thought India would want to be either, but then they're the ones sending in dozens of troops. So it's, but to be honest, I'm probably not qualified well enough to answer that question at the moment. And that's where I rely on members in my group to kind of come forward and suggest those ideas. So that's probably all I have to say on that matter.
I think you were quite honest with your answer. If you ask me this question, I would probably answer the same, that they have to keep pressure on. They have to keep voicing their pressure for the Kashmiri people, although Pakistan is suffering at the moment with the COVID-19. And Prime Minister Imran Khan is trying his best to cope with the situation. We have a lockdown, but we are not that country, not that rich, and the database of all the population we don't have. So we don't know how many people are poor and how many people are rich. So he asked of international community to donate, that he can spend some money, give some money, like to the poor people, that they can have some sort of comfort in this difficult time. I think when it comes to India-Pakistan relations, we all, as a British citizen, we are loyal to Queen. We took the oath to this country that we will be loyal to this country. Anybody who is a native origin, or we came like us, immigrants, and then settle down and choose to live here to earn and live and enjoy the democracy and the benefits in this country, this oath demands from us to work for the peace. And peace can't be resolved between India and Pakistan unless and until the Kashmir, the core issue, is resolved. We witness the people being killed, raped, and there is a threat to the human being's life in Indian side of Kashmiris. Also, if they engage with the war, both have the capability and ability to kill each other, even to destroy the peace and the whole population. And one more thing, I must say that India is a big country with a big number, a big population. They are majority are poor. They need to feed. India and Pakistan should not spend the money to their arm. They should give people jobs. So I personally believe that this oath which we took to be loyal to this country demands us to work for the peace in that region, because both India and Pakistan are the member of the Commonwealth countries, and the head of the state of Commonwealth country is Queen Elizabeth II. So it is important for me. It is important for you. It is important for all that people who took the oath. They should work for the peace and for humanity and for democracy. The democracy which we enjoy here, Europe enjoys, the world enjoys. It is important for them to work for the countries where there is no democracy and there is media controlled. At the moment, I would also in this program, I try to voice that today is the International Press Freedom Day. I would also voice for the Kashmiri journalists who've been killed, who've been controlled, not to give up the news, and Indian state terrorism and army are basically not allowing to do so. So we pay tribute to all the journalists who are working in occupied Kashmir. What else needs to be said? Platform and time is yours now.
Yeah, I mean, building on what you said there, I mean, the Indian government, I think, are of great concern to me at the moment, of great concern to everybody else. There seems to be a real anti-Muslim thing going on there with their citizens' amendment law, you know, the domicile law where they can move people into Kashmir. It's not, you know, it's a dictatorship that's going on over there. Political prisoners is the other one. So, yeah, I mean, hats off to the journalists, because without them, half the news wouldn't be coming out. And the political prisoners, you know, there's great concern that the coronavirus is being used, you know, against the population there, and concern that these political prisoners are getting overlooked, and, you know, there's concern for them. So just further on, you know, great concern about the way the BJP government are going about running their country, where we're not seeing democracy, we're not seeing secularism. It's of great concern.
Thank you very much, Claire. I hope I will get chance again to interview you. It was very moving. Your thoughts, your honest opinion, and good cause to the humanity. I hope more and more people will join us in this cause in future through you, through your hard work, and may Allah, God, should reward you for the working for the voiceless people. Thank you very much. Our program ends here. Take care.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.